And in this tracking process, if you notice, inherent in both of those was immediate tracking. Immediate tracking. Immediately after the skincare class, immediately after you get the feedback form back, looking at where they are. If you track as you go, first of all, it's a lot easier that way, right? This, again, is one of the single biggest elements that will make or break the success of anyone working on any project in any field. Okay, this isn't just a Mary Kay thing. Okay, think of athletes. Do you think they're tracking their performance? They're tracking their progress? Oh my gosh, if you want to hear some stats, just turn it on to ESPN. Okay, they're all over the place, constantly ticking across the bottom. They know their numbers. They know their stats. Okay? Your businesses, any business that you've ever heard of, if you can think of the business name, okay, if it's a Fortune 500, if it's a Fortune 100, or even if it's a startup company, what kind of executives do you think don't know their numbers? Okay? You cannot change what you do not know. You do not know what you do not track. It's one of the simplest things you can do. It's also one of the most important things that you can do. If you don't track, you'll never hit your peak performance, and you'll never know why. Okay? Now tell me if you can relate to this. People who don't track also are very likely the ones that slip into the fog of poor emotional management. Okay? They're the ones that they don't know where their time is going. They don't know where their money is going. They're honestly not managing either one very well. They can't account for their time or their money, and it becomes a very vicious cycle. Can anybody relate to this? Do not raise your hand in this department, okay? But you know what I'm talking about. When you learn to work the numbers, it takes emotion out of the equation. And when you gain control of your number, you will gain control of your income. Now, I will just encourage you, if this is an area that you know you need some focus on, okay, I will just encourage you. I focused extensively on this topic in that Digging Deeper CD that I was telling you about a little while ago. Okay, that CD is available to everybody. It's all about how to become the strategist, how to start with the end in mind. Okay? If you're listening to this and if you're with me on the other side of that screen, you don't have one of those Digging Deeper CDs yet as part of my national area, contact my office immediately so that we can get you one of those CDs, okay? If you do have it, if you're with me in this room and you already have that CD, here's what I want you to do. Listen all the way through it once, okay? Then go back to the time management and the tracking session, those two sections, the time management and the tracking section, and listen to it over and over and over again until it is just ingrained into the fiber of your being. Okay? Let's go back and look at the specifics now on how to track what. I want you to leave here with an understanding of how to track what. Your Perfect 10 sheet, what does this help you track? Your activity. Perfect 10 helps you track your activity. Now, you can print this off of my website. You can contact your director or my office if you need someone to show you how to use it or if you're not familiar with Excel. There are some little tricks that are really cool that are programmed into the spreadsheet that will really help you analyze the strengths and the weaknesses in your business. Okay? But there are little tricks and things that are back behind the scenes in the spreadsheet. So I'd actually recommend that you not just try to figure it out for yourself and assume that you're doing it correctly, because there are several different tabs at the bottom, and the tabs talk to the next tab, and so it will literally populate itself if you're filling it in correctly, so that on the last tab you can see a summary of what you've done all month and all year based on just the ongoing data that you're putting into the spreadsheet. Okay? My office team actually hosts a conference call on a periodic basis to have this information explained to them. So make sure and get plugged into that next call if you haven't been a part of one of those. Okay? Again, track as you go. It's much easier that way. It's much less daunting if you do it just a little bit every day than trying to catch up at the end of the week or at the end of the month. And let's be honest, who is going to do that? We never do. Okay, we never do. It also allows you to make tweaks during the process instead of waiting until it's too late. Okay, by the time the end of the month has gone, the end of the contest period is gone, it's too late. You can't go back and fix it. But if you're really keeping your eye on it on an ongoing basis, you can make those tweaks while the tweaks would make a difference in your end results. Okay, let me give you some tips. You may want to write these little things down really quickly. Here are some things to keep your eye on as you begin to strengthen your skills. That's the point of tracking, not to turn in your homework, remember? You're analyzing this so that you can be strengthening your skills to reach your peak performance. Maximize your opportunities. Here are the things to keep your eye on. First of all, your total number of faces for the month. Another thing to look at, your total number of appointments for the month. Also look at your total number of interviews for a month and your total number of team members in any given month. Now, once you know those totals, you're also going to study some averages. Okay? It's okay to use the company averages until you've developed your own. It's much safer, much smarter to know your own averages. And also remember that you can actually increase your averages. I went from having almost every show cancel to almost having nothing cancel. I went from having almost no one sign to having almost everyone sign. But that was because I was constantly watching these numbers. Okay? And I was working on them to fine-tune my skill. Now, I'm never going to bat 1,000. Okay, even if you watch Major League Baseball, okay, if you bat a 300, you're paid millions of dollars. Okay, what that means is that they can strike out or not get on base 7 out of 10 times. They don't get a hit 7 out of 10, and they're paid millions. We're not going for perfection here. Okay, what we're striving for is excellence. Know what your numbers are. To play like a champion, you got to know the rules of the game and be willing to play better than anybody else. That's what knowing these numbers will do for you. It will equip you and empower you to become a champion in this particular arena. So now that you know your totals with the numbers you just calculated, we want to go back and keep our eye on some averages as well. So here are the averages you want to look at. Your average number of faces per appointment, your average sales per appointment, average sales per face, average number of new bookings per appointment, and the total number of new team members per month. Average number of interviews scheduled. Okay? So when you're looking at the total number of new team members, you also want to look at, from each appointment, what are the averages that you're scheduling for interviews from that appointment? Okay? So if you've got a class of 6, are you scheduling 6 interviews? Are you scheduling 5? Are you scheduling 4? Are you only scheduling 1? Are you forgetting? Are you chickening out? Where are we in that department? Okay? So you got to know the total so that you know where the averages lie. Everybody with me on that?